favorites button on your remote. Watch live or DVR LCTV channels 1301, 1302, and 1303. For the best in local programming, it's LCTV. For more information, go to www.lctv.net.
Hello everyone, I'm Becky Wittes, Chairman of the Niagara County Legislature, and this is Niagara County Update, our monthly show that we produce in partnership with LCTV, where we bring you the programs, the opportunities, and the issues that affect us all here in Niagara County. As always, I want to thank LCTV for the wonderful partnership. They've done just a great job of helping us really bring government closer to the people and to the community that we serve. We're now live streaming all of our committee and legislator meetings monthly, so if you can't make it to the legislative chambers to be with us in person, you can always watch live from home on lctv.net. You can also find their on-demand page where all of our prior meetings are stored. In case you missed those, you can go back and get yourself caught up. So I do encourage that if you want to know more about how your government works locally and what we're working on here in Niagara County at any time. So today, very exciting, I'm joined by our Niagara County Commissioner of Social Services, Megan Lutz. Megan, thank you so much for being with us. We looked back and it's been about 2 years since we had you here last, which is a while. So we're going to have lots to talk about, and we're happy to have you here again.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Great. I want to start by giving our viewers some perspective on the Department of Social Services, because first of all, one of our few departments where, as our commissioner, you are actually given a term of office by New York State. And that's a little bit different than how a lot of our county employees work as our department heads. So talk about that relationship that you have with the state.
Sure. Yeah, as you mentioned, it's New York State law that the commissioner is appointed to a 5-year term. So I'm currently in the 5th year of my first 5-year term. Qualifications for the position, certainly minimum have a bachelor's degree, but ultimately it's about the person having the appropriate knowledge to and experience and supervision to run multiple departments. So I was lucky enough to have that when I was appointed as the commissioner. As you said, we do a lot of our work through the state. So the state laws, rules, and regulations are what the county is responsible for implementing. So there's not a whole lot of discretion as far as what our department does. Certainly we control how we do things, but the work itself is really governed by the state and federal laws and regulations. So I have a team of commissioners across the state. We work together to communicate with our state commissioners to make sure that we're all doing things the right way, and that we're making sure that we're getting all of the state and federal dollars that we can back to the county for the work that we're doing. So really we're a service delivery arm of the state and that we're implementing through the county.
That's great. And certainly DSS is responsible for providing many services to the residents, as you've already indicated. Give us an overview of what some of those areas are that you cover.
Ure. So certainly our mission overall is we help families, and that's what all of our divisions do each and every day. I think most people look at us as for our benefit programs. So we have the temporary assistance, SNAP and HEAP programs. SNAP, the old term was food stamps. I think people still call it that. But we're providing funding so that low-income families and individuals can be able to feed their families and get food on their tables. Our temporary assistance is what we call cash assistance. Is if someone doesn't have funds to pay their bills, or maybe their income through working isn't enough to support themselves, then they can come to us and apply for temporary assistance. And our HEAP program is the Home Energy Assistance Program, where someone could come to us to get assistance with paying their heating bills, paying their cooling bills, or getting certain equipment to make sure that their home is heated during those times of inclement weather, whether it's too hot or too cold. That's kind of the programs that people think of when they first think of social services. But our services side is where we house some of our investigative agencies. So Child Protective Services, we have our caseworkers going out to investigate reports of abuse or neglect in the community. They're really our frontline responders when it comes to allegations of child abuse. On the opposite side, working with our adult population, we have Adult Protective Services, and they go out when we receive reports of maybe abuse of the elderly or financial exploitation. They will go and investigate those to make sure that our elderly clients or our adults are living to the best of their ability as well. Ultimately, when we're working with youth, getting back to our youngsters, they could end up in foster care or freed for adoption. So we're responsible for making sure that they're taken care of during those times of transition when a family may just need some extra supports. Sticking with our youth, we have the Youth Bureau. That agency is just wrapping up the summer lunch program. They provide meals throughout the summer to a bunch of camps and youth programs throughout the summer. And they're gearing right up for their fall and winter programming now. We also have a dedicated housing unit. They provide services to our homeless and those individuals or families who are really in an emergency situation and may not be or be accessible to housing. We make sure that they are housed throughout those months. So there's a lot of different responsibilities that our department is in charge of overseeing, and we are the largest department in the county. We have more than 400 employees on any given day, depending on the staffing situation. So maybe I could take a quick opportunity to let our viewers know about the employment options with the county. Certainly there's a number of departments where we're always looking for dedicated staff, but certainly at social services, we've been able to take advantage of the HELP program that our civil service department was able to work with through the state, so that you may be able to come and work at social services without the need to take an exam. So I would encourage anyone, niagaracounty.gov is the new county website, and you can go and check out any employment options there.
Fantastic plug for the employment opportunities, not just at social services, but of course all across the county. We even have some new videos on that site that are going to help individuals know what to expect for their exams and how to get through that process, which is really helpful. So thank you. That was a great point.
Sure.
You certainly have a lot on your team's plate.
Yeah.
That is, undeniable. And as we're going down the list, I'm kind of reminded about how many different areas you oversee that actually impact other county departments and the work that they do as well. Can you talk a little bit about that cross-department collaboration and cooperation that I'm sure is there and has to be?
Sure. I mean, yeah, that's crucial, right? We don't operate in silos, so we want to make sure that we're directing our clients and our staff as well to resources that are available through our other county departments. Certainly one of those big ones is employment and training. When we have clients who are coming in and need that financial assistance, we want to make sure that we're linking them to employment opportunities. So the Niagara County Employment and Training Department is one of our strong partners. We have them coming in to meet with our applicants for assistance so that we can make sure they know about certainly employment and training and the job opportunities that might be available through their office, but also linking them to resume writing and to job search opportunities. I know at Employment and Training they have a clothes closet, so if someone maybe is going on an interview or needs some more appropriate work attire, they can link to those services through Employment and Training. We also have people who maybe need some counseling assistance, maybe they have some substance abuse issues that they're trying to work through to become more stable in their lives. So we work with the Office of Mental Health, the Department of Health, and certainly Office for the Aging. When we have some adults who may be in need of some more support and assistance, we would be referring to those county agencies, just to name a few.
Absolutely, and I imagine that collaboration extends not just to our county departments, but to outside agencies as well, not-for-profits and other service agencies across the community. Is that the case?
Oh, absolutely. I talked about employment and training, and one of the barriers that we see with our clients, those who maybe do have an employment opportunity or that are going back to school, they may need some assistance with childcare. So one of our programs that I didn't mention earlier is our daycare unit. The state has really enhanced funding to local districts to support childcare subsidy. So if you're in an education program or you're working, you can apply to our daycare unit for assistance. And we would be able to provide subsidy. With that enhanced funding, a family of four could potentially earn up to $100,000 and still qualify for that daycare assistance. So we certainly encourage our clients to apply for that service. And with our daycare agencies, they're certified by the New York State Office of Children and Family Services, and they also are overseen by NIACAP, the Community Child Care Clearinghouse. So we make sure that those programs are certified by our outside agencies and that our clients are then receiving that service.
It's fantastic. This is great information. I know we have so much more to talk about with you, but for now we are going to take a short break. We'll be right back with Niagara County Update.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Tune to LCTV 1301 on Spectrum Cable for local talk shows, sports, entertainment, and special events in our communities. We also bring you the best gavel-to-gavel local government meetings and an opportunity for you to talk with your local officials live on TV. Program LCTV in your favorites button on your remote. Watch live or DVR LCTV channels 1301, 1302, and 1303. For the best in local programming, it's LCTV. For more information, go to www.lctv.net.
Welcome back to Niagara County Update. I'm Becky Widish, Chairman of the Niagara County Legislature, and I'm joined on today's show by Megan Lutz, our Commissioner of the Department of Social Services with Niagara County. Megan, thank you again for being with us. You've given us some great information so far. We really have talked about the sheer scope of responsibility that your department has at DSS. So now I want to get kind of more into some specific issues, if you don't mind.
Of course.
All right. So we have heard some county social service departments across the state kind of starting to sound the alarm about homeless problems that they're having and how that is putting a tremendous pressure on county budgets. Are you seeing that same situation here in Niagara County?
Yeah, we're certainly seeing an increase of homeless individuals and those that are in need of, shelter or permanent housing. The pandemic was interesting because for a few years we saw a decrease in that. There was the eviction moratorium and there were certain things in place that limited the opportunity for a landlord to evict someone. So now we're seeing some of that trend shift. So we're seeing certainly some more homeless. Just to give you a few numbers, this is from the Homeless Alliance of Western New York. They track data on the 5 counties and different shelter admissions for various time periods. So for 2021, we saw around 730 people served in shelter. 2023, we saw that number jump to 1,180. So we're certainly expecting that number to be higher again this year and continuing to climb.
Okay, unfortunate news, but it's what I expected to hear. So Niagara County does have a very limited number of beds in our partner-run shelters, right? So we're not going to be able to put everyone there, which means that you're using hotels and motels?
We are, yeah. Certainly we're very thankful to have the resources that we do have. Community Missions, Niagara Gospel Rescue Mission, and Lockport Care Shelters all help us with housing the homeless, but ultimately that's just not enough for the numbers that we're seeing. Which results in us needing to use hotels and motels in various areas of the county. Household-wise, just again looking at that data, around 194 households in 2022, up to 364 households in 2024 or in 2023, excuse me, and that's specific to our DSS stats. So it's not something, unfortunately, unlike other counties are seeing. We're seeing this trend happening across the state.
Sure, and obviously part of that cost is borne by the county taxpayers, right? I mean, so I'm assuming that cost is only going to go up?
Yeah, unfortunately, looking at that, it's around, our 2023 costs were around $900,000 for the cost of placing into just hotels and motels. So certainly that's a number that we're always looking at. It's budget time. We're getting into, putting that together for 2025 and looking to see how it may impact us.
Sure. Just to give some perspective to our viewers, $875,000 is roughly equivalent to 1% of our property tax levy. So clearly the county is footing the entire bill, but it gives you an idea of how these increases really have a real impact on the county and its taxpayers. Is there anything that you can point to that you believe is kind of driving the increase in both the numbers of those who need the shelter and the overall cost?
Short answer, no. I think we know there's not usually one factor when it comes to things like this, so it's a combination of things. The economic conditions that we're seeing right now, I mentioned the pandemic and coming out of that, and some things that have impacted the numbers that we're seeing. There's a really low availability of affordable housing specifically, so it's harder to get someone who maybe has a lower income into that shelter or that living situation. And with that, housing prices are high to purchase, which keeps people in apartments longer, which maybe increases the price of those. And also landlords can then be a little more choosy as far as who they may want to rent to. We're seeing more background checks for individuals, credit checks, income checks to make sure that they're able to afford the rent that is being offered as the price. So certainly some of those things we're seeing as impacting. Certainly getting back to the cost for placing in hotels and motels, Niagara Falls specifically, and even Lockport to an extent is a tourist destination, right? We're seeing more people coming in the summer. So when we're talking about the cost to place in a hotel or motel, we're seeing those costs increase because the demand for hotels and motels just from the public is increasing in the summer. So the costs can fluctuate just depending on the season and when we may need to place someone.
That makes sense. And like everything, the cost of living is going up all the way around for everyone, right? This is no different, and that's causing extra concerns. And then you add in the fact that, a landlord's looking for not just the rent, but they're looking for the first, the last, the security deposit. That is it's a hard sum for some people to come up with, even if they are working. It is a big chunk of change to come up with all at once.
Absolutely.
Adding that trouble. So thank you for really diving into that issue. I know that it's giving our viewers just a much more detailed idea of the complexity of that issue, because like you said, there is no easy answer, and there's so many different factors that are playing into that. So we're going to continue to watch that and monitor and do what we can, of course, to help your department overcome that situation for our residents. So thank you for everything you're doing. I know that's difficult. Before we wrap up, I do want to cover quickly some other areas or topics that are important to DSS, and these are some really great ones. You mentioned earlier that you cover the Youth Bureau. That's part of DSS as well. And they have an annual Kids and Kites event that's coming up. This is a fun one. If you've never been, I'd suggest you try and get out there, especially if you have little ones that might enjoy this. So tell us all about Kids and Kites.
Yeah, so this is one of those opportunities for us. We're always giving back to the community, but this is when we can really get out there and see those positive interactions with families. The 26th annual event is Saturday, September 14th. It's from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. out at the Town of Niagara Veterans Memorial Park. We have a free kite, t-shirt, and hot dog lunch for the first 500 youth that register. It's a day of registration, so you can just come on out. We have a ton of raffles, prizes. DJ the DJ comes out to spin some tunes for us, and we have Nels Ross, one of our local jugglers, come out and do a little performance for the kids. And it really is just a great day to be out in the community. The park at Town of Niagara Veterans is beautiful. They've done some remodeling, so I would definitely encourage anyone on the 14th to come on out.
Yeah, I wish you a sunny but windy day.
Yeah.
It's really an experience to get out there and see hundreds of kites all in the air at the same time. It's a lot of fun, just the smiles on the faces. All right, so let's see. Back in May, you and some of your members of your team came out to our legislature meeting as we recognized Foster Parent Appreciation Month. You also hosted a wonderful dinner that I was able to come to, and it just a great event to see those families and all the good that they're doing in children's lives. And foster care is another area under your supervision that you mentioned earlier. I know you're always looking for those who might consider being foster parents, because we could always use more of those. Take a minute and talk to us about that program.
Yeah. So, I mean, nationwide, we see hundreds of thousands of children who end up in foster care for various reasons, and that's certainly no different here in Niagara County. Our foster parents are excellent resources. They take children into their homes in a very difficult time in that child's life, and they provide support. They provide, just anything that the child could need: love, affection, and making sure that they're getting the services, educationally, medically, whatever that might be that the children need. So we're always looking for more foster parents. We do various recruitment events over the summer, but really the information that you need to find is on our website, niagaracounty.gov. There's a variety of information on how to apply to become a foster parent, and the training that's required, and the staff that we have available to help an individual navigate through that process.
Yeah, I know it's a very daunting thing. It's it's a lot of commitment for a family, especially when you have your own children and you're adding to that scenario. It's difficult, right? It's not an easy process. You're seeing children who have certainly been through some very emotional situations. They may have physical needs that need to be met by that foster family as well. And I've just got to say, you go to that dinner and you see the children there with their foster parents and those families that have been blended and created, and it's just such a wonderful thing to see and to know that those parents are willing to give that time and energy, because it's not easy. And I don't know how we thank those individuals enough, because there are children who need that. And sometimes they're able to go back, to their parents and the situation is better, but other times we've seen those children adopted into the new blended family as well. And it's just such a heartwarming feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, adoption certainly is, maybe not the best outcome, but is the best outcome, right? I think we want our children to be happy and stable, and then we can do that by giving them, a loving adoptive family. So certainly that is a route that we do have some of our children take.
Absolutely. So if you're interested, sign up and see what that's all about. Get some more information. Megan, we still have a few minutes. I know there's so much that goes on out at social services. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about or let our viewers know about that you're working on right now?
Well, I think, certainly we talked about a lot. And we also mentioned the Niagara County website. So social services, we have our own page on the website, which lists all of the various services that we offer. So I would encourage anyone to go to that website to make sure that they're really up to date on all of the information. A lot of our options for eligibility, if you're looking to apply for benefits or you're looking for more information about a specific program, that can all be found on the Niagara County website. We also have a call center, 278-8400. If anyone has an open case and they have questions, they can reach us through that. We also have social services at niagaracounty.com is our email address, so they can certainly send any inquiries through that mailbox as well. And again, routing through our website to make sure that they're getting all of the up-to-date information on the services that we have available.
That's great. And you have 2 locations throughout the county, 2 main buildings. When you hear about a staff of 400 plus, right, that takes up a lot of space. And of course, we want you to be accessible to our residents. So give us the addresses of your locations in case people are looking to actually appear in person.
Of course. Niagara Falls, we have 2 offices, Niagara Falls and Lockport. 301 10th Street is our location in Niagara Falls. 20 East Avenue, right on Main Street in the city of Lockport, is where you can find us there. Our office hours are 8 a.m. to 3:45. So you can come in anytime. We have a wonderful, welcoming reception staff who will be happy to greet you and help you with whatever it is that you need. And I guess just sticking on staff, if I could for a moment, I mentioned we have over 400, and the work that they do is incredible. They really are all about our mission. That's we help families, and it is shown every day through their interactions with clients, and even our staff who support our internal staff through various accounting and different functions. They really are working very hard every day, and I can say to all the taxpayers that they're doing really great work.
Absolutely, and please extend our gratitude to them. 400 employees, I obviously don't get to see many of them face to face, day by day, but we hear the stories, we get the phone calls, people who are grateful for the help that they received, or they're just looking for assistance and they don't even know where to begin. And I can say that any time that I've reached out to you or your staff, you've been very accommodating and helpful to get me to the right person so that we can help those individuals. Even if it's not a service that you provide, you're able to assist them with linkages to other organizations that might be a better fit for them. So thank you to you and your staff for everything that you do. Thank you for being here with us. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. We need to not wait 2 years before you have you out again.
Anytime, you just call.
These months go by so quickly. We have so many department heads. We try to get through the rotation, but it's great for our residents to understand the services that you offer and how that works. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right. Few things to wrap up with today as we finish out our show. You heard Megan talk about the fact that we are now on niagaracounty.gov. This was a change that happened recently. Our county website prior to that was niagaracounty.com. And I just want to reassure everyone that that is going to be a very easy changeover. We haven't had any issues. If you put in the old address of .com, you will actually be automatically redirected to the .gov website. So that's not a problem. You will get where you need to go. And I just want to, be sure that the public understands and tell you a little bit about why we did that, so that you know that this is not a scam. This is, not something that's happening by accident, but very, very purposeful and with a good reason. The Federal Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency has been urging government bodies to make this move to the .gov domains. It helps the public to know that the website that they're on is actually a bona fide US-based government organization. Reduces the uncertainty, of course, of the trustworthiness of the information, worried that you're, part of a scam. Really just lets everyone know that you're on the right site. Only verifiable government agencies are able to get these .gov domains. We're the only ones that are eligible, so not anyone can set one of these up, which is different than a .com or a .org. Really, so choosing that name, again, helps us just to keep the residents not confused about what site they're on and that it is actually our official website. The change should help, of course, improve security for those reasons, and hopefully, again, it lets people know that this isn't a scam and that they've reached the right website, because it can be difficult. You go online and you just try to Google some sort of question and you end up on a website that isn't the official site. Maybe you don't get the correct information and then there's confusion there. So this should help. Next, I want to give a big thank you to our environmental division for the great work that they've been doing over the spring and summer in hosting their household hazardous waste and paint collection events across the county. Hundreds of residents have taken advantage of these events to rid themselves of old paint, pesticides, and other household chemicals. I have been at those events myself and seen the cars coming through and how happy people are to be able to clean those items out safely, especially before we hit the winter here. Everyone's trying to get cleaned up. The county has been hosting these events for over 10 years now, and we estimate that we have removed more than 1 million pounds of household hazardous waste from our landfills, and that is a pretty big accomplishment. Again, so I want to thank our environmental division for the way they run those. Are so efficient. People get in and out quickly, and just so happy to have that opportunity. They do a great job. If you've missed the events that we've held so far, the county still has 2 more left before the end of the year. We have a paint collection event on September 28th in Lockport and a household hazardous waste event October 5th in North Tonawanda. To learn more information about those events or to register ahead, which we ask that you do, you want to go to rethinkyourwaste.com. Registration opens about a month prior to the event, and again, we do recommend that you register ahead so that we know that we'll have enough staff and be able to get everybody through that line efficiently. As always, as we conclude the show, I just want to remind everyone, all of our residents, that if you are struggling, if a friend or family member is having a concern, whether that's a mental health issue, anxiety, addiction, anything else that might be going on that you need help and assistance with, please don't hesitate to reach out to the Niagara County Crisis Services line. That's 24/7 free and confidential help that you can call anytime, and they will connect you with the services that you need that can assist you. That number is 716-285-3515. For now, everyone, have a great rest of your summer. It's going to end quickly. By the time we're back again next month, I'll be saying happy fall, which I have mixed feelings about. So everybody stay safe and healthy, Niagara. Take care.
You're not going to get it all right.